Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Tasneem. I'm the senior manager at 98 percentile in the HR department. And today we did a wonderful drive with XLR. It was amazing right from the very beginning, from the very first day when I got in touch with them till today. I think it was an extremely smooth journey with them. There were multiple follow-ups done by the representatives in order to check that we would be, what time would be coming, how many people would be coming, what vehicle we would get. To that extent, they were so precise in giving all the information to us. It was extremely great to get associated with them and have a drive at XLR campus. So we are very, very happy that we got a chance to do this. Now, coming to the students, what XLR had, I think they were extremely enthusiastic. They were well prepared. They were aware of what they are coming for. I think there was some back-end preparation which they did that was commendable. They also were very confident and they were open to any kind of thing we were asking them to do. That was I think the best part. Now, I really hope we have a very, very fruitful association with each one of them and XLR in future. We are really looking forward to have many more drives like this.
Hi everyone, my name is Prachi Sharma and I'm the Senior Project Manager for IT Department at 90th percentile. So today we were here for this IT bootcamp, right, this technical drive and at XLR. So it was a great experience and I would feel that the students, they are the freshers, right, but it doesn't seem like that. So if I talk about their technical and cognitive ability, they all seems pretty good in that and that's what I felt. And I guess they have been taught pretty well at XLR, so that's how they have performed good in their aptitude and the technical tests. So I wish them all the best and it was a very great experience over here.
Hi, this is Patan, Technology Consulting Manager from 98th percentile. We visited XLR for the campus placement drive and it went very well today. Miss Ambika, Miss Pragati, everyone received us greatly here and we had a lot of enjoyable time here. The students even had great experience with us. They were interactive, they had good aptitude and all the technological skills they showed. I think they were all well and we really appreciate their time that they spared to us and I think we will be doing a great job. We are expecting a lot of people to be hired from them. Let's see. It was a great experience altogether.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
From entering into the cyber tower to exiting out of this tower, the XLR team has been received me with such a care and pleasure.
I am the part of this XLR since 4 months. From the third month itself, they have conducted the placement sessions from the third month itself, and this is the fourth month, and this is the 98th percentile is one of the placement drive I have attended so far, and attending to this drive is such a good experience for me. All the HRs and the team made us feel very comfortable and confident.
XLR helped me a lot, and I experienced a lot of things today. So I'm really hope to be placed in that company. I'm confident about that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all. Guys, is my voice audible? Yeah, okay. So, good afternoon, Varun sir. You can start the session.
Okay, thank you. So let us start our discussion. On projects. So what exactly we are supposed to do in projects, we'll get a high level understanding today, and then I'll show you how the code is going to look like, what are the points that we have to focus on, what are the steps that we have to write down in our project. We'll try to understand those areas. So now if you observe, there are different stages for our project. So what are those stages? First, let us try to understand. The first stage is always define your problem statement. Okay, so that is the first stage first. Defining problem statement, that is very important. So now, for example, this problem statement can be related to any industry. So carefully, we have to study that problem statement. So in this problem statement only, they are going to tell you what kind of project it is. So is it a classification project? Okay. Or is it a recommendation project? Is it a clustering project? Is it a deep learning project? What is it, you will get an understanding. Is it classification or clustering, or is it a deep learning project? Or it is a generative AI project? This high level understanding we are going to get. So we have to understand the problem statement. And then usually after the problem statement, once we have read that problem statement, what is the next task going to be? We have to take a look at our data. So data collection. So that is going to be the next stage. So what is the data that we are working with? Okay, how many columns we have? how many rows we have. Okay, and you should have variable description. So variable description is important for us. That means each and every column in our data set should be clearly defined. So what is that? Column definition should be given, and some explanation about the values present in the column should be given. Yeah, no problem. So that is very important. Understanding the column, understanding the different variables which are there in each and every column. And then we should be in a position to also give some explanation about the values present in each and every column. That is very important for us. Now, similarly, once you have worked on our data set and all, once you have got the basic information about our data set, the next step is we have to visualize our data. We have to explore our data. We have to do some visualizations, okay, like scatter plots, understand the relationship between the columns that we have, finding out correlations and all, and then understanding histograms, box plots. So all these things we are supposed to perform. This is called as EDA stage, exploratory data analysis. EDA. And as part of your EDA, we can also do something called as pre-processing of our data. So under pre-processing, we can talk about concepts like standardization or normalization of our data. Or we can select what are the important features in our data. Yeah, full volume is there. To speak loudly only. Okay, can you hear me now? Mic check. Can you hear me now? Am I audible? Yeah. Am I audible? Okay, fine. Now, so we were talking about pre-processing of our data. So under pre-processing of our data, I can have concepts like standardization, normalization, and then we can talk about some feature engineering. We can do feature selection. So I can include these steps. Under pre-processing of our data, I can put them. And then once you are through with your pre-processing of your data, we can proceed with data partitioning of our data. So dividing our data into training and testing. So I can partition my data into training and testing. So on training data, I'm going to build my model. And then on testing data, I can test my model. So building your model and then testing your model. So we can find out what is the training accuracy, we can find out what is the testing accuracy, and then we can decide whether the model is working well on our training data and also on our testing data, we can decide. So what we are doing after dividing our data, we are going to apply different machine learning models. We can apply your deep learning models, AI models you can apply on your data. And then you can check which of these models are working well on our data set. That information we can, that idea we can have. So once you apply your machine learning models and all, deep learning models, your AI models and all, if you apply, what you can do is you can find out what are the accuracy levels. Accuracy levels you can find out. What is your training level accuracy? What is your testing level accuracy? You can find. Now, once you have that information about accuracies, what you can do, you can evaluate. You can evaluate those models. So we can compare those models. We can find out which model is doing well, which model is not doing well and all. And then what we can do, we can decide what is the best model that we have, and then we can make our predictions, we can make our classifications, we can make our clustering. So whatever problem we are working on, we can do those things. Once our model has been decided, that is the best model for us. So these are all the steps which are involved. So starting from your problem statement, then collection of data, then explore and visualize the data, then pre-processing. Okay, after pre-processing, then partitioning of our data, building our machine learning models, then comparing those machine learning models, evaluating which one is doing well, and then finally making predictions. So these are all the different stages in our machine learning project lifecycle. So now, if you observe, I'll show you how one problem statement is going to look like. You will understand that problem statement, then how your data is going to look like. We'll try to get some basic understanding about that concept. Now, if you look at this problem statement here, So it is common for any project that you are working on, you will have one problem statement. So in that problem statement, clearly they will explain what is that you are supposed to work on. They are going to give you that information. So for example, if you look at this problem, so if you observe, we have around 1340 observations. We have 1340 observations from a single state in USA. And this observations, their data has been taken from Insurance Research Council. So you can understand that data is related to your insurance industry, insurance sector and all. And the data what we have got is related to 1340 observations or 1340 citizens from a single state in America. And we are talking about their claims. So at the time of injury, if they incur any accident and all, they can use their insurance and they can claim for their insurance. So the data is about your insurance industry will be working on some claims. So that is a basic understanding what we have to get. That is how we have to break it down. Any problem statement, you have to break it down like this. So what is the sector that I'm working on? What kind of data that I'm having? How many observations I'm having? These observations are coming from where? So these kind of questions we have to ask our problem statement and get the answers. So now they are telling us why this survey was conducted, why this data is given to us, what is the purpose. So the survey is conducted in order to understand the characteristic of claimants. That means characteristics of customers. So we want to understand this. Characteristics of our customers. Now, what we want to understand? We want to understand whether these customers are going to consult a lawyer or not when they are claiming for their insurance. Are these kind of customers going to consult a lawyer? So they want to understand the profile of the customers. Now, why this is important? What information they are going to get if they find out who are the customers who are going to consult the lawyer? They are going to understand how the profits of the insurance company will be affected. So if a person goes to a lawyer when they are claiming for the insurance, what we can understand, if that person claims for the insurance using a lawyer, that lawyer is going to affect the company's profits. The company has to pay more money to the customer because of the lawyer. So it is affecting the profits. So therefore, it is in the interest of the company to find out who are those customers who are going to consult the lawyer and who are those customers who are not going to consult the lawyer. Who are the customers who are going to consult the lawyer? Who are the customers who are not going to consult the lawyer? So this information is important. Now, what is the area of interest? So we want to find out from our data. Who are those customers who are going to consult the lawyer? Who are those customers who are not going to consult the lawyer? So depending upon those characteristics of customers, depending on those kind of customers who are going to consult the lawyer, we can understand the company, the insurance company is going to design different policies. So they are specific people who are going to consult the lawyer. So we have to try and solve their problem. We have to understand those customers and we have to design different policy instruments. We have to design different insurance policy for those kind of customers. So that is the logic. So like this, clearly, first thing what you have to make sure is the problem statement is clearly written like this. So any project that you are working on, you have to make sure that the problem statement is clearly written. That is the first job. That is the first statement. What is the expectation that you're supposed to do? Problem statement should be clearly defined. So next, what is the expectation? You're supposed to have data set details. So they have to provide the details of the data set. So in the data set, they have to clearly talk about what variables you are going to work with, what variables we are going to work with, and then what is the definition of those variables. So this information we should have. And how is the data going to look like? How is the data going to look like? That information also we should have. So this is how your variable description should look like. So if you observe, clearly they are giving. There is one data set which is called as claimants data set. So clearly this data set is there. And then you have one target variable. What is the target variable we have? Attorney. Attorney means lawyer. So attorney column is, so clearly they have said attorney column is there. So in this column you can have data like this, yes and no. So you are going to have different categories there. Yes and no. So yes means that person is going to consult a lawyer. No means that person is not going to consult a lawyer. So 0 and 1. So what I can do, if I have my data in the form of these categories, what I can do is I can convert. I can convert my data like this into zeros and ones. because it is more convenient for your machine learning model, for your deep learning model, for your neural network model and all. It is more convenient if you have your data in the form of zeros and ones. It is more convenient. So now we know we have one target variable. That is what we have. And then it is also telling us that we have to predict the outcome, whether the claimant is going to consult a lawyer or not. So clearly they have defined, we have to predict the output, whether it is going to be 0 or 1. That information it is clearly mentioned for us. And now it is also talking about what are your independent variables that we have to work with. So clear definition like this you should have. Your problem statement and then your variables. What is the data set and what are your description of your variables, like this you should have. So now if you observe, it is saying we have a column called age. So age column I have. So in this age column, if you observe, he has also mentioned the units of measurement. So age column, unit of measurement is years. It is measured in years. Okay, how many years is that? Customer. So this is a numerical column that we have. We are working with a numerical column. And then if you observe, we have gender column. Another column is the gender column. In this I can have values like male, female, like this I can have values. So again, this is my categorical data. So again, this is categorical data. So what I can do, I can convert this data for the convenience of my machine learning model, for the convenience of my deep learning model, neural network model, I can convert it. I can convert it into 0 and 1. So just for the sake of convenience. So it is clearly saying you can assign 0 to male and you can assign 1 to female. This information it is clearly given for us. Now, next independent variable we have seed belt. So seed belt variable, if you observe, again you can have yes and no information in the seed belt. So it is telling us whether that person is wearing the seat belt or not. So yes or no. So if that person is wearing a seat belt, then you can assign a value of 0. If that person he is not wearing a seat belt, then you can assign a value of 1. Yes and no. So what we are doing, whatever categorical columns we have, it is for the convenience of our machine learning model, you can always convert them into zeros and ones. And if your data is already having zeros and ones, then clearly they're defining if it is 0, you have to understand this person is a male person. If it is 1, you have to understand this is a female person. So 0 if male, 1 if female. So clearly they're defining how you are supposed to understand each and every column, what values you can have in each and every column, and what is the meaning of that value. That information it is giving us. Now, another column you have claimant insurance. So if you observe this claimant insurance column, so again you can have values like this, yes and no, and then 0 and 1 you can assign. So if there was no claimant insurance, that means if the driver of that vehicle was uninsured, then you can say 0. Yes, he was uninsured. Otherwise, you can say it as 1. So like this, what we are doing, we are trying to study each and every variable which is given to us. We are trying to understand what is our data, what columns we have to work with. We are getting an understanding. And then if you observe, we are having another column, which is called as loss. So another column. So another column, if you take, it is the loss, what was incurred during the accident. So loss incurred during the accident. So again, loss means it is a numerical column. They are clearly mentioned in thousands of dollars. It can be, this is my loss, it is in numbers, numerical column. So what we can understand? We can understand that our target variable is having 2 categories, zeros and ones. And then we have a bunch of independent variables we have. And now using these independent variables, our task is to predict our target variable. So when you want to predict your target variable, you can understand clearly this project is a classification project. So this is a classification project that we are able to understand. Now, how is your data set going to look? That also we have to take a look at it, right? So these 3 things are important. Your problem statement is important. Problem statement is important. Then our variable description is important. And then also our data set details. That is also important. So let us take a look at our data set. So this can be how our data set is looking. We have case number. Case number is just like some ID that you are working with. You can have attorney column. This is your target variable. You can have your independent variables, claimant 6, gender column, claimant insurance, seat belt, claimant age, and loss. So now clearly we can understand here data is 0, 1, 1, 0 like this. So from that variable description, you can say 0 means that person is going to consult the lawyer. 1 means he is not going to consult the lawyer. That is the understanding what you're supposed to have from your description. Similarly, claimant sex. 0 means male, 1 means female. So this observation is corresponding to male. This observation is corresponding to female. That understanding you are supposed to have. Then claimant insurance. So again you have 1 and 0. Again you can go back to your variable description. So 1 is yes, 0 is no. Then seat belt. So seat belt is zeros and ones. Again you can go back here. So seat belt 0 means yes, that person is wearing a seat belt. 1 means he is not wearing a seat belt. This information we are able to get. Then what is the age of that customer? What is the damage? So now clearly, 3 things we have taken care of. What are the 3 things we have taken care of? One is the problem statement. And then second one is your data set. Under data set, variable description. And then how our data set is looking like. So these 3 things are common for any project that you are doing. So clearly they have to give you these things. Wherever you are going to go and work, for any project that you are doing, these 3 are fundamentals. Okay, that you have to make sure. So we have to make sure that all the relevant columns are there, which are necessary for us to solve this problem. We have to make sure we have that data. So if you don't have that data, you have to reach out to the concerned team. So you may have a data engineering team, who is responsible for collection of this kind of data for us. So we can reach out to the data engineering team and we can say, I want data for this column. Can you collect and give me the data? So they are going to work on that and they are going to give us the concerned column which is important for our analysis. So now if you closely observe these columns that we have, if you look at them, out of these columns, always you will discover that some of these columns may be not relevant to us, may not be relevant. So what is our job? I can simply drop those columns. For example, case number column. I can have case number column here. So these are just like IDs, roll numbers. So roll number 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. So case number column, if you see, they may not add value to a problem that we are trying to solve. So what I can do when I proceed forward with my analysis, when I proceed forward, what I can do is I can drop these irrelevant columns. So that is the idea. So slowly what you are doing, slowly from problem statement, we are able to decide, okay, this is the data that I have to work with. And how am I supposed to handle this kind of data? We are slowly getting to that discussion. So in any project, in any problem statement that you are going to solve, the first thing is we have to always import our required libraries. So we have to import our required library for reading the files, building our models, for transforming our data. For pre-processing our data, we have to import our required library. That is the job. So if you remember in these steps, what we have been discussing. So problem statement and data with variable descriptions, we have managed to observe them. Now our job is to understand your exploratory data analysis. Explore our data. That is the task. So for this exploration, you will have to use some libraries. So for EDA, exploration of data, so this is a problem statement where you can use your machine learning models, you can use your AI models and all you can use, and you can solve this classification problem. You can do that. So for that, we may have to initially analyze our data. That analysis is required. So for that, we are working on EDA. So what are basic libraries that you can work with initially. Like pandas you can use for reading of your files and all, you can work with pandas. And for data transformations, you can use NumPy. NumPy library you can use. And then for visualizations, you can use Matplotlib, PyPlot, Seaborn libraries. For visualizations, I can use. So we are writing now. So as a developer or as an engineer, what is it I'm trying to do? I'm trying to first write down what are the basic libraries required for any problem statement, any project that we're trying to solve. What are the common libraries that I can use? Okay, pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, PyPlot, Seaborn. And then I can use sklearn library. So common libraries we have written down now. So beyond this, you may also have other libraries, what you will be using. So maybe you are working on neural networks. So I may use something like Keras library. Okay, or I can work with TensorFlow. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to decide what are those libraries which are required for us going forward, that may have to keep it ready and have to use it in my exploratory data analysis. I'm just writing down what are those possible libraries that I can use. So these are the initial things what you should be taking care of. So now, for example, I'll show you. So if you look at just an example to give you an idea how our job is to import our required libraries. So that is the first thing we have, because we have to start with our EDA analysis. We have to start. So just get an idea. What is the expectation? So if you observe the NumPy library, like we have discussed, Matplotlib, PyPlot, then Pandas library. Okay, you have sklearn library. Now, sklearn library, what is the advantage? sklearn library will have all your machine learning concepts and all, your machine learning functions and all, they are readily there in your sklearn library. So if you observe all your machine learning concepts, your models and all you can use, like your ensemble models. Okay, add a boost, gradient boosting classifier, random forest, extra trees. Okay, then you can work with your decision tree models, your logistic regression models like this. sklearn will have what is required. sklearn library will have all the required machine learning models. And now if you want to work with your deep learning models also, then on top of this you can import your Keras libraries, TensorFlow libraries, and you can use them and you can build a neural network model. So that is a starting stage. So first step in any problem statement, in any project that you are trying to solve, we have to import our required library. So import our required library. Now, what is the advantage when I import my required libraries? Some of them I can use it in my EDA stage. Some of them I can use it in my pre-processing stage. Okay, standardization, normalization of my data. Then some of them I can use it in data partitioning stage. Some of them I can use it in building my machine learning and deep learning models I can use, AI models I can use. So throughout the program, wherever I want, I can use those libraries and the functions which are present in those libraries. So that is the concept. So all these libraries put together, they are important whenever you are trying to solve a problem or a project. So if you keep them ready, then throughout the program, wherever you want, you can use them without getting any errors. So sometimes what may happen, we want to use one function, but we have not imported that one. We have not imported that one. So what will happen? It is going to throw us some error. So it is always better to decide whatever libraries you want to use beforehand and then import them and keep them ready in your problem. So for EDA, the three libraries which are required for our data analysis can be pandas and numpy, matplotlib.pyplot, Seaborn. These are all the different libraries what we are going to use for our initial data analysis. Then after you perform your EDA, exploratory data analysis, then you can go to your pre-processing of your data. So under pre-processing of our data, if you want to standardize or normalize our data, then also I can use my sklearn library. I can use sklearn library for standardization or normalization, for any feature engineering that I want to do, feature selection that I want to do. I can use my sklearn library or scikit-learn library. And then for partitioning of our data, again we can use our sklearn library. For partitioning also we can use sklearn library. And then for building our models, applying machine learning models, sklearn library. Deep learning models, AI models, I can add another library, Keras or Tensor. So like this, for different stages, different libraries have been developed. So directly use those libraries, use the functions which are there in those libraries, and you can write the program. So that is the idea. So what we are going to do for this exercise, we are going to work with our Jupyter notebooks, or you can also use Google Colab. So Google Colab is a cloud environment that you can use. It is just like your Jupyter notebooks. So how does that work? So for example, if I go to Google, and then if I type Google Colab, and if I click on this, welcome to. If I click on this link, and you see you have some window which is opening. This window is there, which is opening. Now I can click on new node. So without installing Python and all, what we have done, we have managed to open our environment. So that is the idea. So after opening your environment, click on connect. And you can connect to the Python terminal, which is there in the background. Now, once you are connected to the Python terminal, then you can start coding. You can start importing your libraries. Importing your libraries, we can start it. And then also, we can start reading our files. And then exploring our data. So that is a task. So what we are going to see going forward is all these things we are going to work out. So first job, we have taken care of the problem statement. We have looked at the variables for description. We have understood those columns, what we are going to work with. And then we have also taken a look at our data set. So those are the three things, three major things what we have to take care of. And then our next job is we have to start with our EDA. And for that, we should be in a position to import our libraries, read our files, explore our data. These things we have to do. So that is the step-by-step procedure what we are following. So now remember these points what we have done so far. And then from tomorrow onwards, we will get into our concepts of importing libraries, using some Python commands, reading some files and all. You'll understand how we are doing, exploring our data, what steps are required under exploring our data. So one example I've shown you, we can drop the columns. Any column which is not required, we can drop those columns. So this is part of EDA. So that we are going to see. So let us break for the day here. And then again connect back tomorrow. and we'll continue our discussion. So till then, take care.